Welcome to Guidepost. This is a quiet place to get away from the crazy news, to get a positive, different outlook and point of view during these stressful and difficult times. I am Leo Peterson, and I am here with Jorge Luis Sarmiento.
Thank you, Leah. It is a pleasure to be here, and I hope that we can be of help navigate these crazy times that we are going through. And it is just a place to, as she said, it's a place to get a new, different point of view, and it will help somebody and just approach things from a different perspective.
Awesome. So we're going to start with our word of the day today.
With the phrase of the day?
The phrase of the day.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So the phrase of the day is, insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. So Jorge, let's talk about that.
Well, that phrase is attributed to Albert Einstein, but he is not the original person. There is a beautiful story, and I don't remember now who the author of that phrase is, but it is so true. It is so true that it was assigned to Albert Einstein. So can you repeat the phrase again?
Yes. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results.
After COVID was a space for all of us to change, to go into something different. The way that we were going before COVID was not the best way, not the way that we deserve as beautiful beings that we are, beautiful divine beings that we are. So COVID gave us this space to change and grow and evolve. And we are changing, and we are changing fast, and we are not going back to the same. And that's why that phrase is so powerful in this moment. As we change, we are not... I remember before COVID, I was at my work, and I was trying to get the office running back again, and I struggled to make things as they were before COVID. And I went in this route trying to make it work again. It did not. And I went with this other route trying to make it work again. It did not. Then I said, okay, things are not going back as it was before. I have to change. And the office changed completely, radically. I wouldn't say it was my idea, but I would say that it made us ask deep questions on how we were working. Mm-hmm. And we really had to change. So whatever shift we did on our work, it was because I was stubborn and I was not doing what the phrase said I had to do. Mm-hmm. I was trying to improve at 5% because I thought if the company makes 5% more and I make 5% more, mm-hmm. that is okay. Or if I change 10% and my family income increases by 10%, then I am doing okay. Mm-hmm. Turns out it is not real change.
Right.
It is just something small and petty that doesn't go with my divine nature. Mm-hmm. It doesn't go with my precious beingness, with my spiritual beingness. So I had to allow for something different, and something different came. So we made a lot of changes at the company. We are not bigger, but we are more profitable.
Mm-hmm.
Smarter. And there is a better rhythm at the company. Mm-hmm. There is more time for everybody on the staff. And I can truly say I am not that wise. It really took me time to understand that beautiful phrase that you explained. Change is change. It right. cannot be just small things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we call it the new normal now, right? That's
the
a term.
New normal,
that's
yes.
a term we've heard a lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so there is a new normal now, and mm-hmm. and perhaps you can share with us which one is your new normal, because after COVID,
Yeah.
maybe you lived an experience like that.
Yeah, definitely. So I come from the boutique cycling world, and so our normal was, a packed room, elbows to elbows, sweating and working out. And after the pandemic, we were spread out so far from each other. It felt so different, but it was obviously safe, So just being able to be adaptable and embrace new opportunities, embrace change as, that's something we're meant to do as humans. We're supposed to adapt and evolve and not do the same thing over and over and over. And when our whole floor beneath us shifts, that's where we can really show what we were put here to do, is adapt and grow and change and learn. And I think there's just that little silver lining that you can shine on life, and you just look for the positives in it and focus more on the good than the bad or the change or what's different.
Yeah. I think that Leah is the person to interview here, because she has such wise and powerful intentions. So maybe I should change. And now
No. We won't do that. Yes. So do we want to talk any more about the phrase of the day?
I think that the phrase of the day is going to be the topic, the whole program.
Okay.
And we can go into the second part if you want, and then we tie everything together.
Perfect. I like it. Okay. So the second part will be the word of the day. And the word of the day today is etymology. And it's belief. And it's be plus life. So Jorge, please talk us through that.
Okay. As I said before, etymology is the story of words. And of course, English is a second language for me. And when I was learning English, I began to research the story of words behind it, and the sound and the phonetic. And at some point, I began to see how powerful the English language is. And the story of it, and the story of language, is a beautiful story. All of the languages have the same story. It goes back centuries. So centuries ago, there were not that many distractions. People were really focused in what was important, and they described that thing that was in front of them. There was no radio, no TV, no nothing. So when they came with the word belief, it was the contraction of another words. It is be plus life. So when you believe in something, you be that life. If you believe that you're going to be a good soccer player, and then you continue in that belief, you will be that life. You don't have to be the best soccer player in the planet, but you are going to enjoy playing soccer. You are going to hang out with people that play soccer, and you are going to be in that environment. So we have to be aware of what we believe. I think that you believe that cycling is a way to be healthy and to be fit, and then you get into that environment of people with bicycles, and so what we believe, we have to be conscious, because not only belief, but belief can also be changed. We can consciously change belief. I can say tomorrow, or not tomorrow, right now, I can say, I don't like soccer, I'm going to be a cyclist, and I begin training on bicycles. But it's not about saying it, it's about feeling that I love the bicycle, feeling that I love the air in front of me passing, feeling that I like pedaling on that, I like being outside in the street instead of in a studio.
I like the air conditioning. But you bring a really good point to the table of, kind of what you speak over yourself, you become. And that's the beauty of our crazy, intricate minds, is that we can decide in a split second that we want to change our focus, we want to change our purpose, and we can immediately put that into action. And I think that right there is one of the most powerful things as human beings we can do.
Yeah. We have we have consciousness. We don't want to recognize that we don't have consciousness. There is this author called Jim Self, and Jim Self describes 3 levels. He says that we are unconscious of being unconscious. Then later we are conscious of being unconscious.
Okay.
And then later we are conscious of being conscious.
Interesting. I've never heard of that.
So it is so beautiful and so powerful and so simple.
Mm-hmm.
So in our regular life, we just go and work, pay the bills, work, pay the bills, work, pay the bills. And we've done that for centuries. And now we are beginning to think, is it really what I like? Is it really just work, pay, and the tax man is the only thing that we have, and the only thing certain is taxes and death. So we are beginning to question that. And when we begin to question that taxes and death is the only thing in life, well, we are already beginning to that next level of being conscious of being unconscious.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to bring that consciousness to everything that we do.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say every single person is different. And after this conversation, you may decide, hey, I am doing cycling, but I can also become a mathematician.
Mm-hmm.
And then you pick a theorem, or you pick a formula, or you pick something, and you say, okay, what does it mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then you can begin another way to express beauty and grace, because there is beauty and grace in math.
Mm-hmm.
And you can it's just a choice.
Yeah.
It is just a choice. And the formula that Einstein has for energy equal mc squared is so simple and so powerful.
Mm-hmm.
So you can research the meaning of that and see how much grace and beauty is that without going into the details.
Right.
So I think that as we bring consciousness to our experience on life, we begin also to live different experiences.
Right. Yeah, because a lot of what we do is just on autopilot. Like, I don't know if you've ever gotten in the car to go home, and then it's like suddenly you're home and you're like, oh, I don't even really remember how I got here, because you're just on autopilot. And so much of our life is like that. And how you talked about just jobs, taxes, work, jobs, taxes, work. And you know, it's really accumulation of all the little things we do in life. And it's the little morning routines before work. It's the evening routines after. It's the little interactions at work that really seem to highlight our life more than, you know, the big overlaying, oh, I worked this career for 50 years. But it's the small little bits within there that really kind of bring us to life too.
You mentioned something that is key here. You mentioned autopilot. We've been in autopilot for many years, and I would say that is the same thing that Jim Self says about being unconscious. We are just in autopilot all the time, and just repeating the same things over and over, and being in that autopilot removes the creativity, the originality, the authenticity of our being. A human being is something authentic, something creative, something that brings ideas to the table. The autopilot has removed most of that, and I want to extend on that part, because we are going below unconscious.
Yeah.
We are, I wouldn't say we are now in autopilot. We are worse. We are now, we are in a confluence where technology is the one that is dictating us. In the morning, the one that wakes us is the telephone. And then later at work, the telephone reminds us of an appointment that we have. And later during the day, it reminds us that it's our mother's birthday. Mother's birthday.
Don't forget that one, Jorge.
Oh my God. So that little device is reminding us of so many activities, so many things, that we are losing track of our capabilities. It also multiplies for us, it divides for us. We don't know any phone numbers, so we just go to that device and it reminds the phone numbers. And I don't know the phone numbers of my kids. I just go there and... So we are getting to the point where we are not even in autopilot, we are in somebody else's pilot.
Yeah, we're a little dependent, right?
We are so dependent on that our creativity is being going down to almost zero. And we only measure ourselves by the things that we did according to the device. The device said I had to have this appointment, I had to call this person, I had to do this, I had to call this other person. Then we go check, and then we go home. That is removing creativity, spontaneity, authenticity. So how do we move away from that little device is a challenge for all of us. And I am trying to do it with my own style. And I invite everybody to try to live without that device. I didn't say it's a bad device. It does have a room. It does have a space. It does have, it does provide help. But we have to find a time for ourselves to be away from it, to do our creative work. Painting, sculpting, writing, riding bicycles, whatever. But we have to find a space without that device, both in our time, in our personal time, as well as in work. Because in work is where we are supposed to be creative.
Right. And I feel like it's like a muscle that you flex, creativity, right? And now we haven't flexed that muscle in a really long time. So we need to get into that daily practice of flexing that creativity muscle and seeing what that can bring about. So I think that's a really good point you bring up.
Yeah. So that is the part on change. I really think that on change, belief plus change is the hardest part that we are living right now, because we have to change our belief and we have to expect something totally different. In our family business, we made so many mistakes trying to get back to the same story, trying to pay the same bills, and it turned out to be something totally different. I mean, companies still exist, thanks God, but it was really a shift that I was not looking for. At some point, I just allowed the opportunities that were coming in. I said, hey, if that guy is coming to that offer, well, I will take that and see how it works, because I don't have any ideas. So I think that spirit, guidance is around all of us, providing us an incentive. And the same thing is for you now in your business. I suppose that now in your business you are going to have E equal MC squared, and you are going to explain them how that ties into energy and belief and change. And
of course, yes. I know this can be applied to everything, to obviously your job that we've talked a lot about, your personal relationship with yourself, and allowing yourself to feel change and grow into a new space, and with your relationships are ever evolving. You know, the friendship I had with my friend back in middle school is not the same friendship we have today in our late 20s. So everything is evolving.
My relationship with my kids is changing. They are now 18 and 19. And I explained to them, not well, because I am not perfect, not well, but I explained to them how we've been feeding them for 18 years, 19 years, 20 years. And they think that that energy flow has to continue the same way from father to son, father to son. And I explained to them, now you are in the stage of change. In this change, now you have to return something. You have to do something for the house. you have to clean something, fix something, buy something. So they are struggling with that change.
Yeah.
It's like, why? If you've been feeding me my whole life, why do I have to go and put fuel in the car? And so they are also struggling with change. And I got to this explanation of how energy was flowing from father to kid. In the beginning, we changed diapers, we feed them, and we clean everything for them. And then that is not the relationship anymore.
Right.
Now the relationship has to be more balanced. Where we were giving before, now we are expecting something in return. And they are like, hey, what is happening here? I mean, do I really have to wash the car?
Right.
Like, yes, you do. But we were having a lot of friction in our house because I was expecting them to do things. Was a lot of friction until I understood this thing that we were just talking about. And then the flow of energy was in this direction. And after time, that flow of energy is not going to be no longer in this direction. Now it also has to come back this other way. And then they began to understand. They still fight though. But the point is, it is change. And our relationships do change.
Right.
With our friends, with our family, with our husband, wife, our kids. And change is a constant.
It is. You talk a lot about, the unconscious versus the conscious. And I think about talking about the change, and change is hard. And I think the more that we can just pause and like feel those emotions, and in talking to your children or me to my friend or my husband or anything, just acknowledging, hey, this is hard, this is challenging, but we're gonna do this together, and I'm just gonna tell you what I'm feeling. You can't fight with feelings. You can fight with facts, but you can't fight with feelings. And as long as we just love and respect each other, and we just try to get through this together, I think that's the best thing we can do. But sometimes we set expectations without telling the other people. I'm very guilty of that myself. I'll expect them to do something and they have no idea because it's in my head, not theirs. So I think that's probably my biggest takeaway today is having that moment of pause and being conscious of what I'm feeling, what's the goal, what can we accomplish together, and I think we'll all be better with that.
So thank you very much, Leah, for having this conversation with us, and I hope that we brought a different perspective to this crazy world.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure being here, learning from your wisdom. And, I'm sure we both come from totally different backgrounds and different demographics. And here we are able to talk about things and on the same plane. And I really appreciate that.
No, thank you very much. It is a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Have a great day.